Okay, so we kind of already talked about this a little bit, but
Yes.
you've been through Charlotte a few times.
Yes.
What are your impressions so far of the city?
Well, I've actually never been outside of the Charlotte airport.
Okay.
I come through Charlotte a lot because I live in Nashville, so it's an easy connector. But this is my first time seeing the city, and I love it. I mean,
How about the airport?
I love the airport. It's awesome. Bigger than Des Moines, where I'm from, or Nashville, where I'm living. So it's really nice.
And then on your drive onto campus, did you really get to see much, or?
We were more so following directions coming onto campus. I didn't really look around, but it's very nice, very big. Again, I'm used to Vanderbilt from Nashville, so it's real small, and this is definitely a lot bigger. It's beautiful, though.
We're the fastest growing campus in the North Carolina system,
Wow.
so definitely check it out while you're here. Just talk to me about just the experience of being in the Olympics. I know that's so general, but
It's okay. The Olympics is kind of, I don't know, it's the greatest, biggest, largest stage in the world. But it was incredible. Working towards the Olympics, it's the epitome of dreams. And growing up wanting to go to the Olympics, when you actually get there, it's kind of a rush of emotions. You're sad because you're there and kind of your career is getting ready to be over. You're excited, you're happy, you're overwhelmed because you're remembering all the hard work it took to get there. But it's really neat because you're in the company of every Olympian in the world and kind of being amongst people that you can relate to. It's spectacular, and they pull out all the stops for the Olympics, so it's pretty cool.
So talk to me a little bit about the camaraderie, especially because you did an individual sport that also has a team aspect as
Yes.
well. So
The camaraderie between like individual and team is really interesting for gymnastics because even in the team sport, we're still competing as an individual. We just add our scores together. So it's never really, throwing a ball to a teammate. It's just expecting them to do well. So it's definitely an interesting camaraderie because one day you're competing against your teammate and then the next day you're competing with them, which is hard. It makes for some tension, I guess. But we always say we're like sisters. We love each other like sisters. We hate each other like sisters. And we always will. We'll be family forever.
And I know the big person other than you was Nastia. Was Alicia Sacramone, was that your year as well? So do you keep in contact with any of them? Or?
Yeah, we keep in touch a lot. I mean, it's kind of interesting after the Olympics because we're only 16 years old and we're kind of growing up and going separate ways and we all live across the country. But Nastia's really kind of gone her separate ways. She's in New York City, going to NYU. She's on Dancing with the Stars now, which is awesome to watch.
She's with your former partner?
She's with my former partner, which is kind of like, it's like you're an ex-boyfriend. You're like, oh, they're like dating my teammate now, which is just weird. But it's fun. And then Alicia was a real close best friend of mine. I keep in touch with her all the time. She's married now and just kind of doing that whole lifestyle. So we all keep in touch.
Most gymnasts train 40 hours a week, do private tutoring, and you chose not to do that. You wanted to have a somewhat normal lifestyle. Can you talk to me about that and your reasons for that?
Most girls do the private homeschooling and they do 40 hours a week. And with my coach, it was a lot different. One, my family would never have done that. It's just we were kind of that all-American Midwest family that didn't sacrifice the world for a sport or a day. It was kind of everything in balance and moderation. So my parents would never have thought to do that. They would have switched me to soccer if it came to 40 hours and homeschooling. And also we were lucky to have a coach that he believed in having a social life and he thought it would keep you grounded and interested in the sport if you had somewhere to go and an outlet to kind of play with. And he wanted us to be kids. So he wanted us to go to all-day public school, come have fun at gym, and then go back again. So,
and is that coach someone that you still keep in contact with? Or?
He is. Okay. Chow is like my second dad. I mean, I talk to him. He texts me all the time. But we talk a lot about the girls he's got going right now, going into the next Olympics, and he keeps in touch.
That's awesome.
He has to okay my boyfriends too, evidently.
How long was he your coach?
He was my coach for close to 16 years, so a long time. I moved to him when I was 5, and I was there until I was 21. So,
wow,
long time.
That's awesome. So this might be a little bit hard to talk about. Can you talk to me about the injury leading up to the next Olympics and just how that whole breakdown was?
Yeah, so after the 2008 Olympic Games, the one rule my coach made me promise and follow was I was never allowed to go skiing while I competed. Well, after I finished Beijing, I wanted to go skiing, and my parents took me. I fell in love with it, did really well. I continued to ski. We went on multiple occasions, and it was like 2 years later skiing. I tore my knee, It was just a freak accident, something that was supposed to happen one way or another. But I remember when I fell and I kind of felt something go wrong, my first thought was, what if I could never do gymnastics again? And after I did the surgery, I ended up trying to go back into the sport. I made it back, got all the way to World Championships, did pretty well, and then retired a week before the Olympic Games just because my body was falling apart. My knee had gotten hurt again. I had a fracture in my back, and my heart was gone. I wasn't in the sport anymore, and I had bigger and better things to do. So.
Were there injuries that plagued you throughout your career before that, or?
Honestly, before that, I really didn't have any injuries. I was lucky. I had minor aches and pains, sprains, stress fractures, minor, but nothing monumental like that. And that was definitely a hard lesson to learn, just being humbled. And it was the first time I didn't think of my body as an invincible machine. Yeah, I was actually breakable, which was quite the learning experience.
I'm sure. And you talked about this a little bit, but just the moment when you realized that you were going to have to put up the leotard, I guess.
Yeah.
What was that like?
The moment I decided that it was time for me to retire and I was done, it was kind of like the Olympics. It was monumental for me, just because it was a relief. I had kind of hit a low in my career and life, just not knowing what to do, and actually deciding to finish kind of took a world of weight off my shoulders. And it was also sad because I didn't know what to do, and confusing because, every single day for my entire life I had gone to the gym and I didn't know what to do anymore. I'm also a huge people pleaser. I don't like to disappoint people. I feel like I was letting down a lot of people, but it was for the better. I mean, I think I was healthier and I made the right decision after doing it.
I know lots of time when athletes retire, they'll come back and commentate or do that kind of thing. Have you thought about that at all?
I do. I do a lot of collegiate commentary. When I retired from the gymnastics world, I kind of stepped away from elite and Olympic gymnastics. I thought it was, I don't know, kind of like an ex-boyfriend. It's a hard breakup, and I had to get away for a while. And when I coach, too, I coach more of like the collegiate level and the little girls. I just feel like I don't know, I don't have it in me to be serious enough to be at the Olympic level anymore. I like to have fun with it. So I commentate collegiate. I watch gymnastics with the Olympic level, but I don't think I'll ever get into that commentary. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm a huge Olympic fan, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't know when. Is it Rio de Janeiro?
Rio. Yep, 2016.
Okay.
Next year.
Can you give us the Shawn Johnson opinion on the team, what it's looking like?
I'm really biased because I have a couple teammates that they're very capable of being on the team. There's this one little girl, her name's Nora Flatley. She trained with me for 4 or 5 years at Chow's before I retired, and she's still in the game, and she's one of the best in the world. So I can't tell you who else is going to be on the team. It's a surprise to me as well, but I really think she'll be there, and she's like my little baby sister, so I'm so excited for her. I can't wait.
With the Olympics being such an experience, just emotionally, athletically, everything, what like advice do you have to her if she gets in, or just the other athletes?
I would say like one of my biggest things that I tell anybody going to the Olympics or working for it or headed their way is, when you're at the Olympics, you can't let yourself think that you're at the Olympics, which sounds weird, but if you get kind of caught up in the monumental side of it, it gets too overwhelming and you get distracted and kind of way too nervous. And for me, I even look back and I can't remember 90% of it because I was so focused. And I always tell people to take a lot of pictures, write in journals, keep a diary, because you'll go back later and want to relive it but not remember a lot of it. So just, document everything.
And so you were 16 in your Olympics, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What's the usual age, not limit, but when do you kind of start getting out, like on average?
On average, 16 to 18 is kind of a peak for Olympic gymnastics. And they always say it's kind of like a teeter-totter because, the more mentally mature you are, the worse you do in gymnastics. But the younger you are, the more your body performs well. So it's kind of like the older your body gets, the harder it is. The younger your mind is, the more fearless you are. So that's why you always see them so young.
It almost seems like you could miss the Olympics in your peak year. And
hundreds and hundreds of girls do. The year that I actually went to the Olympics, we had a girl who very well could have been on the team, but her birthday was December 31st and not January 1st. so she was 15 instead of 16 the year of the Olympics. So it was, I mean, it's one day it could change your life, which is hard.
So kind of going away from just the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, there's so much focus and drive and commitment
Mm-hmm.
that came a part of that. Where do you channel all that now?
I think I lost a lot of it. Yes, all the drive and stuff that goes into the Olympics a lot of it goes away and it is not as intense and severe as it was at the Olympics afterwards, just because I get to actually live now and not train like an elite crazy woman. I get to be normal, but a lot of it is just fueled into goals and aspirations and building kind of the next tier of my life, I guess. So businesses and college and everything.
So you're in the library for 40 hours a week?
No. No. I do college online.
Oh, okay.
Amongst everything else that I do. So I kind of try to balance everything. It's not ideal. I love school. I'm kind of one of those school nerds and grew up wanting to go to Ivy League and everything, being an orthopedic surgeon, but kind of played out different.
So you're online through Vanderbilt?
It's through Penn State University.
Oh, I don't know.
So
where Vanderbilt.
I got into Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was supposed to start, but it was like coincidentally the time when I was supposed to start in school, my work ramped up and I was on Celebrity Apprentice and everything. So I ended up doing Penn State online until I can kind of die down a little bit and get back into a college.
And what are you studying?
Psychology right now, but it's going into nursing is what I want to do. So
Okay. My
we'll
mom's
see.
a nurse, so I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
And when you said you maybe one day will want to actually get like more in the classroom, not online,
Yeah.
where you thinking about UNC Charlotte?
UNC Charlotte, yeah. I don't really know. I mean, I love Vanderbilt. My dream was to go to Stanford University. I don't know where I'm going to end up and what's going to happen, so it's hard for me to pick one. I don't feel like I've lived that kind of a lifestyle where I'm going to move to a place and just stay there. It'll kind of all unfold, but
I've heard Vanderbilt is awesome. I'm a huge country music fan, so I've been to
yes,
Nashville.
it's awesome.
I haven't been to the campus, but I've heard it's pretty cool. So let's divide this in half. So
Okay.
let's say gymnastics,
Mhm.
career, and then after gymnastics
Okay.
career, proudest moment.
Proudest moment in my gymnastics career, I'll take the Olympics out just because it's kind of an obvious. Actually, no, I'll take it back. At the Olympics, what's normally shocking to people is there was like the gold medal is probably your proudest moment. But I'd say my proudest moment at the Olympics was my silver medal in the all-around. Just because that was my event. I had overcome a lot of things behind the scenes that were really difficult to handle, and I was proud of that outcome. And then afterwards, it sounds dorky and nerdy, but it was just kind of one of those normal human experiences for me. Getting my acceptance letter from Vanderbilt was probably the coolest thing ever. So I think I cried.
And now the flip side, gymnastics career, after gymnastics, hardest moment.
Hardest moment. Hardest moment in gymnastics. I would say my hardest was also the silver medal, which, will be a lot in my speech as well. I talk about both of the sides of it. But just kind of learning how to accept a silver medal on a world stage was a very humbling experience. And then hardest outside of gymnastics. I'd say retiring, deciding to retire was really hard. And dealing with like the repercussions of all of that with sponsors and team organizations and my family and learning what to do next. So.
So you've written 2 books, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is, first, how did you come up with the idea to start writing books?
Yeah. The first book we wrote was right after the Olympic Games in 2008. And it was kind of, if you can picture like a really nice magazine, that's kind of what it looks like. And we just wanted to kind of collectively put all of my pictures and years into a book and have it be something that people could look at. So that one was just kind of for fun. The second one was more right before the 2012 Olympics. I kept a lot of journals and diaries, kind of like I tell people they should do at the Olympics. And when I'm competing, they teach you to kind of be an unbreakable machine. So you don't want to show any vulnerability. If you have a bad day, you hide it. If you cry, you hide it. And in a diary and journal, I would write everything down. And after the Olympics, when I no longer had to be a machine, I decided to print all of it and just kind of show people we actually are human and we're normal. We have bad days like you, but this is kind of how it happened. So just kind of that.
Okay. And you touched on it a little bit, but like what messages are you really trying to get out? And even like in your speech tonight.
Yeah. A lot of the messages that I kind of talk about in speeches or in the book is, I mean, one, staying true to who you are, I think is the most important thing, I think, in your entire life. Not adhering to societal standards and becoming what people want you to be, but staying true to who you are. And then also just kind of, it's hard to wrap up in like one sentence, but kind of not in a selfish way, but doing things for yourself. So not competing for other people, not competing for any other purpose other than you and what you believe in, and staying true to that, I guess.
So another thing that I was reading about is the website that you have,
The Body Department. Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. The Body Department kind of came about. It was just an idea that I had. I kind of had just a frustration, kind of explosion of a thought and moment where I got tired of looking at magazines and seeing little girls and talking to little girls and talking to girls at colleges and people being frustrated with diets and fads and red carpet looks and just all that negative image that feeds into a girl's brain. And I said I wanted to create kind of a domain or a safe place for girls to go to read about health and fitness and beauty and lifestyle where there was nothing negative. And we kind of ran with it, and it became this website we put together. We have recipes and workouts and beauty tips and everything you can imagine, but it's an open forum, so anybody can contribute. We screen everything, of course, but we kind of find girls all over the world who want to share their stories, and they can actually be a part of it. So
what's the feedback been from that?
It's been really good. We've only had it up a year. We've hit like over 1 million views. We actually posted a video not too long ago that hit over 28 million views, which was incredible. I thought it was a joke, but so we're building. We have a lot of ideas we're gonna come out with this year, kind of product and merchandise and subscriptions and kind of exclusive content stuff that I'm excited about.
Okay. And what and who would you say kind of motivates you in hard times and competition and just in everyday life?
That's a good question. I would say my parents motivate me a lot. Just, they kind of grew up and were raised in just, again, that all-American normal lifestyle, and they just support me in everything I do. They keep me grounded in knowing that nothing's about money, nothing's about success. It's just about being happy and doing what you love. And they motivate me when, I might get off the wrong track and keep me going. So
you have a close relationship with them?
Yes, my parents are everything to me. So.
Awesome. And what would you say is next for you? You can give me a list if you want.
What's next for me? Healing up my knee. It's ready to get off crutches. I don't know what else. Maybe writing some books, working on that. I'll be in Rio working, which I'm excited about. We're not sure in what form yet. We're kind of working out all the details.
Unless you have anything else to add, the last question.
Yes.
I did read the introduction of your book. I did make it that far.
Nice.
And one of the things that you said was that you felt like journalists and just media in general never really portrayed you.
Yeah.
So this is you.
Okay.
Tell me exactly who you are and what you want everyone to know about you.
Okay. A little backup to that comment. Saying that journalists never really portrayed me for who I was. I feel like, as I can call myself a journalist now too, because I work on the entertainment side, I feel like we make stories of people just on what we see on TV. We come up with who they are, but we never really know them. And I was always just like this successful young girl that, I don't know. people always said I was cocky because I was really quiet, and they just misconstrued everything. But I would say me is just, I'm goofy, I'm weird, I'm really shy. I hate being in front of a camera, actually. I get really uncomfortable. I don't know, just a normal girl. I don't really know.
That works for me.
Okay, yeah.
Well, perfect. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much.